Hi, Gyleen. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, Lyric. I'm so excited to talk to you.
It's good to see your face.
Yeah. I don't get to see very many quilters' faces these days.
I know, right? It's hard.
Yeah.
We're not with our people, so it is
No,
hard.
no, it is a little challenging. Yeah.
How
Yeah.
are you coping?
Pretty good. It's amazing because, as much as we teach and we're with the public, I'm technically an introvert.
Yeah.
So I enjoy being alone. So that part has been really great because I'm in the house by myself and I have property, so the view is really, really good. All the trees are in full bloom, so I have, the flowers outside. Um,
Where are you located?
I'm in Maryland. I'm in Churchville, Maryland, or near Havre de Grace. That's my actually official address is Havre de Grace, which is right up the 95 corridor in Maryland. So I'm north of Baltimore, south of Wilmington, Delaware, south of Philly, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm in and I'm in a country setting. I'm in farmland.
Hmm.
So it's not very high population density at all. So yeah. So if we didn't have this little craziness going on in the world, then I would be like seventh heaven. But yeah. But
Right.
I miss not being on the road a bit already.
Yeah. Where were you going to be this spring? And
Oh my
not
gosh. Well,
anymore.
besides the big shows that have canceled, the Guilds, and a couple of retreats that's down in the Virginia, North Carolina area, have canceled, but I'm still, you know, I'm okay with that. So it's okay. I know this too shall pass, as my mother said. Mothers are always right. So
Yeah. Funny how that happens.
yeah. Whether you want that to be true or not, they tend to be right. So okay, I deal with it. Yeah. So
Good.
anyway.
So you're in a place where you're still able to get outside and walk around and still
Oh
be safe.
yeah. Well, my property is 3.5 acres. So if nothing else, I can walk around my own property. It's longer than a football field. So if I do maybe like 3 laps around my perimeter, I'm at a mile. But we also have a rec center that's 2 miles from me that has, I think, about 20 soccer fields on it, soccer, baseball fields.
Hmm.
So what I've been doing is taking the dog on a 40-foot lead out there. There are a couple people out there, but the fields are so spread apart. You see, two people playing frisbee, and actually there's a frisbee golf course out there or a frisbee course. So me and the dog walk around there, and we're just by ourselves, kind of. And I'm really up up the corridor. I'm really on the top of the Chesapeake Bay, so we got a lot of waterways.
Hmm.
So some of it, we go there, and you see quite a number of people just walking the shoreline. So it's kind of a nice view and little serenity. So that has been helping my sanity, as we kind of deal with it. It just seems unnaturally quiet.
Hmm.
Even the birds to me are quieter for some
Oh,
reason.
ours
You know
are
what I mean?
not.
It just seems, almost surreal quiet. Um, but the people you do run into, I've noticed, and I've mentioned this to a few people, they seem nicer. Everybody is cordial. You're in the supermarket, they'll wait for you. You kind of make eye contact and decide who's going to come down the aisle, you know. And maybe because they're less stressed, maybe this was their reset button of knowing, we get so material, so we got to do this and that, and we move time instead of living through time.
Right. You
Now
manage it.
reset to figure out what's important. You're looking at somebody you love and you want them to still be with you on the end of this.
Right.
And so, yeah, you get quieter. I know I've reached out to friends that are longtime friends of mine that I really don't talk to that often, but I definitely have been reaching out to them more and making sure they're okay because I don't want to lose anybody as we go through this. So that's pretty much so. When
Good.
I can't see them, I talk to them.
Good.
That's
You
been
have any projects you're working on right now?
Well, actually, I'm running 3 online classes. Actually, one of my online classes finished up on Monday.
Hmm.
So, and I run online through Facebook. So they're secret Facebook groups and their projects. So that's been keeping me busy
Good.
and keeping my fan base busy, because a lot of them were really disappointed because I was coming to their guilds or whatever, or to the show, and that's not happening. So and I usually do maybe 2 online classes a year. So now I feel really I'm crazy because I got 3 going simultaneously, just to keep the people who are at home, to help them get a little connection, because quite a few people are so isolated, without family nearby or something.
Right.
And it helps me check in on them, because I know they're there by themselves, and I make it a point to connect. So the online classes have been doing really, really well. And I have another one that was called Leap of Faith that started Ash Wednesday, and it ends on Easter. So you must get the top done by Easter. It was
That's a tight deadline.
a dread. Yeah, we were a push. So this is our last hurrah. And I've been online saying, come on, where are we? Where are we? Who's not done yet? Let's make it happen, to push them through. So that's been a little fun. And they liked the project that it was called Leap of Faith. It's this, so I think we maybe only have maybe 4 or 5 more people that are finishing up their tops. And then I just started one that was a new launch, called the Shell Game.
Yeah.
And that one is the first time.
Do you have any that are open for registration now?
No, I'm getting ready to probably open up a new one. And because I've been researching some design ideas that I have in my head, and as I was looking for other things, I bumped into a collection of fabric that I was collecting, I guess, over time. Some Asian stuff that's Asian, like homespun, and I now have it in one spot. So now I'm looking at what I bought to say, what's a good design for that? So I'll probably create something for that, and that would be probably my next launch.
Nice.
See what I'm going to do. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, when you get the link, let me know and I can add it to.
Okay, yeah, and what I do is it's definitely posted on my profile page and then all my group pages. And I have 4 active group pages. So I do it across all my platforms when the class, and the registrations are generally a very short window. I mean, it's like, are you in or are you out? One or the other, because I'm going to launch it.
Make a choice.
Right. And I always tell them up front, if I'm using a special tool, so they can opt out if they don't currently have the tool, even though I'm still shipping.
Right.
And the game is you can never buy fabric. You must use the fabric alone, or you can hustle fabric, or as I call, harvest fabric. And that means you look elsewhere in your house for something that's a fiber, which means it could be clothing, it could be table linen, it could be anything. As long as it's a fiber, it's game for the rotary cutter. So
nice.
Doing,
yeah, I've been harvesting. So secret, my husband has an entire dresser drawer full of t-shirts, like it's his security blanket thing.
Yeah.
Every t-shirt he's ever gotten, and he works in tech, so like every other week it feels like he's bringing home new advertising t-shirts. But we've been cranking out masks and cutting up his t-shirts to use for ties.
Yeah. And I've been seeing that, and ironically, I don't even have any t-shirts. I have maybe 1 or 2. So I was thinking, I should do ties like this because it'd be quicker. And I'm like, I don't have anything to cut. So
you know what I did for my neighborhood, and we'll see how that goes and then expand it. Of course, I've been cranking out masks like crazy for healthcare workers, and I'm like on day 4 nonstop of making masks for my family because I have a very large extended family. And then my kids and I have been cutting up my fabric stash to make kits and t-shirts to make this for the kits to give to anybody in the neighborhood who also wants to sew and doesn't have the fabric for it. And I asked a few of them that, asked for like 30 or 40 kits worth of fabric. I said, could you in return give me 2 or 3 t-shirts? And so now I have a giant stack of t-shirts that were in the Ziploc bags that got dumped straight into the washing machine and then washed my hands really well. We're being really careful with the transfer of any materials. But I always knew that my fabric was part of my emergency supplies.
Oh, there you go. That's right. That's
And
right.
now it really is. If I use up, no, I won't use up everything I own, because I have one cube set away that nobody's touching of the special fabrics.
Right. And I have both. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like,
The rest of mine, if it ends up all gone, it's for a good cause, right?
yeah, yeah. And it's amazing because I've only had, knock on wood, and I'm not going to broadcast this, even though we're going to post this. I haven't had that many straight requests. My family members definitely won't call me.
Oh, they know the answer already.
They know I'm going to say no, because I'm like, mm-mm. So they've already said, oh, don't even call, Guy. Don't even start there. She's not going to do it. She's just not. And but one of my sorority sisters who worked in she works a healthcare provider. So she had reached out to me early in the game and said, hey, this is what's going on. They don't even have that many for me because I'm not full time here. So I made her a group so that she could rotate and wash them. And I'm like, I don't even want to know what happens to these. So if you feel compelled to give them away, that's on you, because you're getting no more from me. Okay, so I'm done with you. So I only have one relative that's close by, that's close to me, which is my niece, who actually has to still go into work. And so she does drugs. She's a director, does drug and alcohol rehab. So the patients are there that she has to go in. So I made her some and just recently shipped those off. But my background started in garments. I've probably done crafts when I was younger, like a kid, younger, crafts and sewing. But I absolutely hate rote sewing. It's
okay. It's totally okay for every person to do what works for their own mental health. One thing I've been telling people, because I'm not accepting requests from other people. I'm making them to give away.
Right. From my heart, right?
Right. But I mean, I live in an area where my neighbors, if they ask me to make one, I know that I live in a wealthy neighborhood, and I give them 3 links to people who are, home, unable to work, and they're sewing and selling these. I'm like, support them. This will pay their rent.
Exactly.
We'll put food on their table. Don't ask for free when you can afford to support somebody who needs the money, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel about it. Yeah. And and I definitely have resources. I mean, I have enough supplies, and it was funny because I was looking for one thing. First of all, one of my followers were making them, and she had run out of elastic. So I'm like, okay, what was the width you were using? So I scoured old supplies from garment days, and I'm like, oh, hey, I got actually some 1/4-inch fabric. So I shipped them, everything I had, to her, because I wasn't making these things, so I was standing off. And then when my sorority sister had asked, I'm like, oh crap, now I gave away all the elastic, so we're not doing that. It looks like I'm doing ties. And I knew I have biased tape makers. I know it for a fact. I have them in every size that they come in.
Could you find it?
The life of me. I don't even, and now I'm thinking, did I give that away? Because you know how you meet, like a middle schooler who's getting into sewing, and I would gather up a whole bag full of stuff, fabric for them, notions, scissors. And I said, maybe I gave that away because I wasn't using it. I'm like, oh, maybe they could use it. So now I'm thinking I gave that away. And then in looking for that, I found 5 packages of bias tape.
Oh, perfect.
Double full. And I'm like, okay, God provides. So I'm like, I will use it all. She asked me for it. I will use it all to make a mask for her. So I did. I went through. And now the price tag, they were on clearance because the tag is still there, 50 cents.
Yeah.
I don't even know how long when I bought it or why I bought it, but they were bright colors. So I ran out. Then I made some for my niece, and I had no tape at that point because I had used it all and given it away. So
Mhm.
then my next thing was, oh crap, now I have to actually make these things by hand. I'm like, oh man, this is the part I hate. And so I made maybe like 6. And I'm like, oh, this is so boring. And it's taking up too much time. And I'm looking at the project I really want to sew. So anyway, I made those. And then I had to make a couple of more. So I'm like, okay, I know those tape makers are here somewhere. I will look again. So I made my whole studio look like hell. And I ran into 5 more packages of the bias tape. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh, Eureka, God provides again. Because I was getting ready to say, okay, I'm not doing it anymore. So I found some
Nice.
more.
Nice.
And anyway, so that was cool. So
Nice.
I now have ordered new tape makers. So my game plan is, if somebody wants them, the part I don't like doing is actually making the tape.
Mm-hmm.
So if they will make that, I will cut the strips for them, give them the little makers, sit it outside my house, let them spend some of their labor so they know how much it costs of my labor. And when they come back with the straps, then I will kick out that mask for them. And actually they can even wait on my driveway because that part is so fast once I have the strips done. But I hate folding strips. Yeah.
Okay,
so
good.
anyway, that's that.
Gyleen, how are you staying in touch with your community and with the people you love outside of the online classes that you're doing?
Pretty much besides the phone calls, I do that. So it's really, I seem to be on Facebook a lot more often
Mm-hmm.
because on my profile page are friends and quilters and my dog community that I'm very close to as a dog breeder. So I'm pretty much there. I talk to my parents that live about 10 miles from me daily because they're 88 and they're very mobile. So I'm like, okay, what are you two doing today? And I'm making sure they have assignments that are called around the house.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, Mom, you cannot go to the store just because you want one item. That's out. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
But at 88, they have survived so many things that this is a quest for them. They're enjoying this whole process.
Mm-hmm.
They're bonding. They're talking about, oh yeah, I remember when I was a kid, I had scarlet fever and my house was quarantined. And ironically, with my mom, when she had scarlet fever, was a census year. So they skipped her house on the 1940 census. And here we are. It's a census year. A whole bunch of people are going to be skipped, So they've been bonding, and I've been tracking them, and they're like tracking kids, those two. But so otherwise, that's it. I don't really, because of where I live, because it's not a high population density, I don't see very many people. My 2 long armors live very close to me. One, I could probably, if we had sidewalks, walk to her house. And so she's been busy. The other one, who lives maybe like 5-6 miles away, I talk to her almost every morning on the phone to see what they're up. And then she's got a pickup drop-off system so that people can get stuff quilted still. Keep them from, going busy. Yeah, but that's it.
All right. Well, our time's about up. Is there anything you want to say?
No, I'm just, you just feel like, very blessed that, I feel blessed. I feel frustrated sometimes because I used to be government, and this whole thing is somewhat in my area of expertise. So I'm frustrated that resources have not hit where they should because I know what's available.
Yeah.
I've been trying to do some positive things online as people have been making masks and getting a little bit too creative in what they're putting in their masks to give them some advice on that. And my big thing is keep it super simple. Don't get creative unless you know some science. Because you don't want to cause more illness that you didn't already have.
Right.
So I've been telling them that type of thing and giving them links and telling them where to go. You don't even have to believe me. Go to the CDC. This is their site. This is what they're saying. Believe, this is somebody safe to believe.
Right.
So I've been trying to do that because this is my area. I did chem biodefense for 33 years. Decontamination, filtration's my thing. Making masks, making
Oh,
filters. I know all about 3M's capabilities and what they use,
right.
why they use it. I mean, all of a sudden, other than a military thing, but I just, had to, kind of keep the warfighter alive.
Hmm.
And the threat was, of course, different. The threat with warfighters for chem, our task was we had about 5 to 10 minutes to save their lives. On a bio threat, which is a lot more lethal
Right.
than we're seeing now with the virus, it was pretty much 2 days. So something that has an incubation period of 14 is a lot of time. The biggest advice is people, if this is not a wake-up call to stay healthy, I don't know what it is. The people surviving it are healthier people, have healthier lifestyles. And some things in us that is hereditary, we can't control, but there's a lot still in our control. And the body wants to save itself. So it's going to do everything it can to keep you healthy and make you well, even if you get it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really a wake-up call to say, get off your butt and walk around the block, do what you can. Sometimes at this point, people aren't as mobile, but they could still lift their legs from sitting in chairs. They can do things and eating healthy. Yeah, I mean, I've actually lost about 4 pounds on this so far.
I found them.
Oh, well, I mean,
I've been learning to make sourdough bread, so I started eating carbs again.
Yeah, that'll do it. And ironically, I tend not to get hungry if I'm stitching.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't
my
either.
studio is my go-to happy place when I get slightly depressed and I don't feel as jovial and able to give more energy, to give more love. It's because I'm starting to go down the rabbit hole myself, and my fix is go to the studio and produce something.
Nice.
Have something that I can quantify my time, that I know for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I can look at it. I did a sketch. I made this. I designed this.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems to help me get through it. But when I'm in that studio, food is just not, I don't even think about food. But I gave up sweets because I am so addicted to them. And that's really where the weight is coming from. It's not like, but I drink beer and, it's not like that's calorie free. So,
and on that note.
Yes. So anyway, but thank you for calling and checking in on us. Yes.
It has been absolutely wonderful to see your face and talk to you for a bit.
I know. Every time I see painted shoes, I think of you.
Yay. That's a happy thing.
Yes, that's a happy thing.
Maybe by the time we're done with this, all of my shoes will be painted. Maybe I should.
Oh boy, I'm thinking about doing some hand dyeing. It's getting warm up here where we are, so maybe I'll do a hand dyed batch of something.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you so much, Gyleen.
Okay. Be safe. Be well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.